Hello everyone! Now you will hear a brief summary of the movie Little Manhattan. Enjoy watching! A 10-year-old Gabe thinks that girls are annoying and nasty, but he knows they can cause an inexplicable thrill in boys. For 2 weeks now, Gabe has been in love, and this feeling brings him no joy. Gabe's parents met when they were not even 20 years old, and today his father sleeps on the couch waiting for all the documents to be signed so he and mom can divorce. The woman started going on dates, and her love now constantly called them at home. In the fridge, all the food is divided into moms and dads. And now Gabe is making the same mistakes. Why does he need this painful feeling? Just 2 weeks ago, the boy was happy, involved in music, sports, and games, and now he only thinks about Rosemary. They had known each other since kindergarten, but Gabe simply didn't notice her. He lived in a world of men, and boys were separated from girls by an iron curtain. Gabe spent a lot of time with his friends and his father, who was planning to raise him to be a professional soccer player. His first mistake was wanting to join the karate class. It turned out that Rosemary was also in this class. The teacher asked the children to pair up, and since then, Rosemary became his karate buddy. She wasn't the most beautiful girl in the class, nor was she in second place. No, Rosemary was third, but she was so good at karate, but Gabe could not master martial arts at all. Rosemary was the first in the class to get a yellow belt, and it confused the boy, because everyone knows that boys are 100 times more advanced than girls. Rosemary scolds her partner for not practicing enough and expecting everything to work out by itself. They should practice not only in class, they can right now, but first, Rosemary needs to look into the dress shop. But then the girl came out in a beautiful pink dress, and Gabe felt a strange sensation in his stomach. From that moment, Gabe became awkward. He got tongue-tied. He felt very insecure around Rosemary. The kids agreed to train at the girl's house, and it turned out that her parents were very wealthy. During the practice, Gabe was not thinking about strikes, but about what smelled so nice from Rosemary. The boy admitted that he was compelled to take up karate by Daryl Cadence, a 5th grader who looks like a 7th grader, a giant, and a 2nd-year student who will not finish school before the age of 27. Gabe freezes with fear when he sees him and wants to be prepared to stand up for himself. Rosemary is so awesome, lives a luxurious life, yet is so humble. Her parents are like movie stars. And what about Gabe? His father meets his mother's lover at the door, who came to take her on a date. Yes, we've already met. Well, let's go. Have fun, guys. Thank you. Gabe took the news of the divorce bravely. Since then, the boy has become much more serious and independent. He walks around the city by himself, although lately he just hangs around Rosemary's house. After all, the next karate class is only in 3 days. But seeing her, Gabe hesitated and left. He was so lost in his thoughts and feelings that he almost ran into his crush on her scooter. The girl suggested going to the park with him. Rosemary, using 2 children as an example, showed that girls are much more advanced than boys. The boy, smeared with cake, was 3 months older than the smart little girl. Just look at her, so clever. There is no one more wonderful in the world. The boy used his own money to buy Rosemary the most expensive ice cream and then took her on a tour of the park. That's how their first date turned out. I was charming and courteous. The perfect man for a first date. When Gabe tried to arrange the next practice session or date, as he calls it, he found out that next year Rosemary's parents plan to transfer her to a private school. Despite this sad news, Gabe felt great because he had a real date. Shrifter, upon learning about Gabe's interest, suggested he watch the show by Mike Chet, a martial arts master. This way he could improve his karate skills. Gabe wanted a haircut, and this is a big problem because his mom had been cutting his hair since childhood, and she cannot be called a professional. The boy dared to ask his mom to go to a real barbershop. You mean pay for this? Please, don't say silly things, darling. I will cut your hair myself. Gabe had to spend his own pocket money. It was the best use of $12. Look at me, hot guy. The kid is very nervous before the next training session. Dates. The elevator operator admired Gabe's girlfriend. At first, the date didn't go as planned. At the door, the kids ran into mom's lover. To amuse Rosemary, the boy showed her profiles of 45-year-old unmarried men who interested his mom the most. Well, now it's time to fight. That day Gabe fought to surpass even his teacher, Mike Shed. At one point the boy tripped and got on top of the defeated Rosemary. Coach Chet immediately advised to kiss her. It's not at all gross as Gabe thinks. But the boy hesitated and soon ended up on the bottom. If only we knew what was in Rosemary's mind. In the end, Gabe didn't dare. Instead of a kiss, he offered the girl a drink. Rosemary saw labeled food in the fridge and suggested that her friend quickly find a rental apartment for his dad. Rosemary's parents are realtors, so she's truly an expert on the matter. Browsing through the listings, the girl found a suitable option and even scheduled a meeting for tomorrow. And that means they'll spend another day together. The kids wandered into an unfamiliar neighborhood, and Gabe realized that he should now become the leader in their pair. Placing his friend on his scooter, he drove her to the right house. They had trouble finding the house, and Rosemary stepped aside to ask for directions. At that moment, a strange man decided to tell Gabe how a girl had crushed his heart. Run. What? Save yourself while there's still time, brother. Get out. After inspecting the apartment, the kids headed home. Gabe had never felt as good as he did on the way back to his neighborhood. They wandered into the smallest park in New York and were ready to kiss. But then Daryl confronted the couple, claiming they were on his turf. When the thug approached, Rosemary hit him between the legs, bringing the bully to his knees, and the young karate kids gave him a good beating. Daryl won't let it go. He rushed after them into the park. However, the friends managed to cross the road just before the light turned red. Gabe managed to deal with a big guy Daryl, but couldn't bring himself to kiss. The good mood was spoiled by the news that Rosemary would soon be going to camp for a whole month and a half. Gabe absolutely must kiss the girl before she leaves. The kid was supposed to be covered by his friends, but they let him down, and his parents got worried because they didn't know where their son had been all day. They even called the police. Gabe was going to be put under house arrest, but he persuaded them to let him wash dishes until the end of the summer instead, just so he could continue going to karate. At night, Gabe dreamed that a double separated from him and exchanged male company for a girl. In the karate class, something terrible happened. The sensei paired Rosemary with Tim Staples, and Gabe knows how it will all end for them. While Rosemary will be with Brad Pitt, Gabe will have to hang out with the Indian kid who's been growing a mustache since kindergarten. After class, Gabe found out that Tim also wants to practice with Rosemary, and when they'll meet next, it's unknown. It seemed like the perfect time to return to his happy life. But Gabe was inconsolable. When Rosemary called a friend, his heart nearly jumped out of his chest. Rosemary is going to a concert with her parents. She can bring one person with her, and she chose Gabe. Life is wonderful again. Apparently the feelings are mutual. The family picked up the boy in a taxi, and they all went to a luxurious restaurant together. When the concert began, Gabe took the girl by the hand because he needed to act. Otherwise, they would remain just friends from karate class forever. Suddenly, Rosemary pulled her hand away, but only to wipe it on her dress and put it back. After the concert, the parents left the kids alone so they could say goodbye. Gabe gathered his courage and finally kissed Rosemary on the lips. The girl blushed and said she had to go. And Gabe thought about his action all night. Perhaps he scared her and pushed her away. Gabe arrived at karate class 10 minutes early. For some reason, Tim was already here. He is also waiting for Rosemary. It's time to resolve everything right here and now. Gabe challenged his opponent to a duel and used the techniques he had learned and his imagination to show him who was the main karateka here. If only life were that simple. Today, Rosemary was late, and she looked somewhat embarrassed. Few things can be more painful than watching your woman fight with another man. A small Indian boy became an innocent victim of Gabe's bad mood. The whole lesson, he tried to guess from Rosemary's face. Does she love him or not? Suddenly, Gabe decided to take the exam for the yellow belt. It's so good that the great master is helping him with this. But instead of breaking the wooden board, the little karateka broke his own arm. He started moaning, writhing, and screaming in pain until he finally lost consciousness. That was the end of karate. It's interesting if his relationship with Rosemary also ended. But that same evening, the girl called to ask how her friend was feeling. In just a few days, she is leaving. Suddenly, the upset boy started talking about Tim, about how he and Rosemary will date, kiss, and have children. And at the end, for some reason, he added that he hates Rosemary. Rosemary! 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 It was unbearable, Panto. Oh, why did Rosemary enter his life? The sad boy rides a scooter, trying to convince himself that Rosemary doesn't matter to him at all now. There's just no room for women in his life. Gabe asked his father how love could suddenly end. He started talking about himself and mom. It's all about the little things we kept silent about, the man answered. They piled up, and one day, so many had accumulated that he and mom stopped talking altogether. So why don't you just talk to her? I don't know, Gabe, but I'd like to try. Gabe realized he was deceiving himself. Of course, he wasn't calm, and Rosemary was still in his heart. The boy understood that love is not 3 short words. Love is great deeds. And it's worth it, even if it causes pain. Sad Rosemary was sitting at the table. Today her aunt is getting married. Gabe rushed to the celebration to say goodbye and apologize to Rosemary. The boy does not want to be like his father, but Rosemary replied that she is not ready to love yet. After all, she is only 11 years old. Apparently, girls do not develop faster than boys in everything, but she is very glad that her friend came here. Rosemary invited Gabe to dance. The children knew they were not on the same path. First, Rosemary would go to camp and then to private school. They are 2 ships that met in the ocean of life. The truth is, you come into this world alone and will leave it alone. Gabe returned home and saw that the juice bottle was not labeled and his parents were talking and laughing in the bedroom. Who are these strangers? After all, Gabe had only seen them like this in photographs. I just told her what I should have said long ago. The happy family went to a cafe. So, what is love? It will break your heart and throw it in the trash. It will end with nothing but a few unique memories that will last a lifetime. There will be another girl, but there will never be another first love. This love will remain forever.